Hey, welcome to an LA Life podcast. It's July 5th, day after July 4th. I don't know what you did for the 4th, whether you celebrated, whether you went to the fireworks. Maybe you're people that just stay at home. Maybe you're some of the lucky ones that get to stay at home and you can see the fireworks from your house. So, don't know what that looked like for you. So, happy 4th. Now the 4th of July really marks the middle of summer. And, which means summer's half over. I know it's crushing. Kids go back to school in a month. Nobody wants to hear that. Teachers, same thing. You go back to school in about a month. So whatever. Hey, weather around here has been kind of crazy the last couple of weeks. We've had some of that smoke that's been coming in from up north and just kind of changes everything. In fact, over the last week or two, you could go outside and it smelled like a campfire everywhere. Maybe you like that smell, maybe you don't. But hey, I got to get going today. I got to jump in, got to get moving. It's middle of a week. I'm on vacation. And so that's a beautiful thing too. So while you're watching this, just know that I am on much needed time off with my family. I look forward to these moments when Missy and I can steal some time together with our girls, their husbands, our grandkids. So pray for me. Would appreciate it. I pray for you guys, pray for me as we're gone to get some rest, relaxation, and just some enjoyment. But here you go. Here's what I want to share with you today. And you'll remember this. If you're my age, you remember the TV show Mr. Rogers. And the TV show Mr. Rogers had a theme song. And essentially the theme song was, "Won't you be my neighbor?" That's what he's asking is, hey, won't you be my neighbor? But listen to what Jesus says on being neighbors. He's asked a question by the scribes, and the scribes want to know, what's the commandment? What's the most important one of all? And Jesus says, the most important is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." Then the second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so Jesus gives these two really easy commandments. He says, number one, you got to love the Lord your God. So it's a personal relationship that you and I have, and we love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. But then he says, love your neighbor as yourself. So here's the question for you to answer today. Who's our neighbor? Right? Who is our neighbor? Is it the actual people that live beside us? Well, it could be. It could be those people. In fact, I have great neighbors. In the big town of LA. I mean, I've got neighbors like Jason and Bev, Rob and Kim, Joey and Stacy, Blake and Tisha, Patricia. I mean, I've got great neighbors that I live next to. And we're fortunate that we get a chance to visit and talk with our neighbors. We're friendly with one another. I've been over in the alley, and we've had a cookout before. And so I got great neighbors. Is that all that Jesus means when he says love our neighbor? Is it the person we work with? Is it the person we shop next to? Is neighbor even as broad as saying it's everybody in the town of LaFountain or in Wabash or Marion? Right? Well, let me go back to the first commandment, and I think this will help us today. Because here's the thing. If you and I love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, out of that love for God, there's going to be an outpouring of love for our neighbor, right? If my love for God is so great and where it needs to be and always working to love him more and to know him more, then I'm filling myself with God, and out of that's going to come my love for my neighbors. When we read what Jesus says in Mark chapter 12, his audience would have thought very narrow-minded on this. Because at that time, they only believed that their neighbor was Jews just like them. In fact, in the Old Testament, that's exactly what it meant, was you only loved the Jews. Or in that case, you would only love the people, the Israelites. And Jesus comes in the New Testament, and he expands that, and he says it's not just for the Jews, but we also love those that are not like us, those that are different than us, even your enemies. And for the New Testament readers, that would have been the Samaritans. And Jesus comes along and he blows that out of the water with stories like the Good Samaritan, with stories like the woman at the well that he meets in Samaria. Even the adulterous woman in John chapter 8. Jesus is expanding what it looks like to love and to love our neighbors. And so here's the question. Here it is again. Who would Jesus call your neighbor? And how are you supposed to love them? Right? Who would the Samaritans today be? Right? Remember, in the Bible times, the Samaritans was the group that the Jews just avoided altogether. We don't want to talk to them. We don't want to look at them. We won't even go into their area. We have nothing to do with them. We wouldn't help them. We wouldn't love them. We wouldn't care for them. And Jesus comes along and he says, no, we're going to love them. We're going to love everybody. And so who are the Samaritans today? I wrote some things down. Who are the people we don't want to look at as our neighbors? Who are the people we're afraid to show love to? Who are the people that needs the church to step up and to show how much we love God and our love to them? That's really the question today on this July 5th, on a really, as we kind of call it, just 4th of July freedom weekend and week. Who is it that needs us to love them? Or maybe a better way to say it is, who do I need to love? Because Jesus loved me, how am I supposed to love others? Well, if I understand Jesus' love for who I am, and if I understand his love for me, then out of that comes an outpouring of love for others. There you go. July 5th. Pretty simple teaching, but some hard stuff to grasp and to understand. Think about it this week. Who's your neighbor? Who are you supposed to love? Love you guys. I won't see you this coming weekend. Arthur Wilson's going to be here preaching, so hopefully you show up, show Arthur some love. The week after that, Dan Snyder will be here. So there you go, guys. That's what the next couple of weeks look like. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon.